Good evening, good evening, good evening, people. It's me, Brian Forbes, the host of The Black Factor. I want to thank everybody for tuning in so quickly. How y'all doing on this Wednesday evening? Well, of course, today we're going to have fun like always. We're going to talk about some current events, and I got something I want to bring to people's attention. Somebody, as a matter of fact. So let's y'all stay tuned. Let's dig in and let's get this party started. All right. So I just found out like a few minutes ago that there's this gentleman who just apparently flipped in Congress in Utah. And according to him, his name is Burgess, and he is a congressman from Utah, who is also, by the way, black, if that's what you want to call it. And he is now a GOP member, and he, again, flipped. And he says all lives matter. So there's that. And like we always say on The Black Factor, all skin folks ain't kin folks. So we have to be very, very mindful of that and careful about whom and how we deal with particular individuals. Good evening, Val. I see you. Alejandro, my man, in the building. And my cousin, Martha. How you doing, Martha? Martha Williams. That's my family, y'all. Speaking of family, we coming up on these holidays pretty quick, y'all. You better come up with some foolproof plans on how to maintain your holiday cheer and stay safe all at the same time. We got to figure that out. Got to figure out how to make that happen. Well, today we're going to talk about the boogeyman. Y'all know who the boogeyman is, right? I'm gonna put a face. I'm gonna put a face on the boogeyman for y'all today. So we gotta, cause every time you turn around, according to y'all's president, there's always somebody to fight and always a villain. He makes up villains. He creates these boogeymen. You know, something I've come to realize, and that is that, and this has been a common theme among Trump supporters. They don't care what he does, because the fallout, the actual damage that's being done has not yet been realized. There will come a time, though. There's going to be a day of reckoning. There's going to be a point in time when all of these different things are going to begin to affect even those who think they support him. You know, I've come to realize that people who support the rhetoric and the nonsense and the lies, they don't necessarily like Donald Trump. They like his personality. They like what he represents. They like the fact that he fights. He's a fighter. They like the fact that he'll fight to the very end. That represents a hero. If you ever think about it, you ever watch movies and you're sitting around and you're watching a good movie, and even though somebody in there is a villain, they got so much fight in them, you just be like, man, dude, a beast. He bad. And you might want to see him come down, but you also know he ain't going nowhere. He's like a fly in the ointment. Somebody gonna love this dude. It ain't gonna be everybody, but it's gonna be somebody. So this guy, apparently, the way it appears is that everybody, kind of loves the fact that he's a fighter, and he says all the things that they're thinking. He speaks on things that really he shouldn't be speaking on. He says things that are not politically correct. In fact, I cannot remember hearing the term politically correct in the last 4 years. When is the last time you heard somebody say that? It's been a minute. I think that's out the window now. I think times have inevitably changed forever, if you will. I'm wondering, are we going to get back to some level of normalcy where that is concerned as time goes on? Are we going to be back to a place where we will finally see some human respect for one another in society, and people kind of stop saying exactly what they're thinking? I mean, just because you think it don't mean you got to say it. You know, that was what I was always told. And then they always said that if you didn't have anything good to say, then you probably shouldn't say anything. But we know better. Anyway, you know, I think these people, they have so much pent up anger and hate within themselves that they project it out, and he's like a mouthpiece for their anger. That's pretty incredible to me. I think it's pretty amazing. But I get it. These people who have all this anger, they want somebody to pay. Dennis McCullum says new term, IDGAF. Y'all know what that means, and that's absolutely right. But these people have a pain and an anger within them, and they want somebody to pay for it. I'm gonna give you an example. You ever been in a situation where somebody did something to you and you felt like you've been wronged, but you didn't have the power to do anything about it? And so we tend to say things like, karma gonna get you. My God, let no weapons formed against me. And all of these other cliches that we use when we feel powerless, because that's the only reason why we even say stuff like that. Because the fact of the matter is that we were prepared to take into our own hands the retribution that we feel. We would do that, and we would make our presence felt in a way that we wouldn't have to worry about somebody else or something else taking care of that for us. Donald Trump is that retribution on many levels. He represents the retribution that many white people feel about a lot of the things that are taking place in America, a lot of the things that are taking place socially, and even around the world. Lately, I've been dealing with the fact that the more I learn, because I do learn daily, education starts at home, even at 55. I'm constantly studying things, and I'm constantly learning. And it just amazes me how much clearer, if it could get any clearer. I didn't even know it could get any more clear. If it could get any clearer, exactly how out of place black folks really are in America. And the fact that we do not truly and clearly understand our ability and the power that we wield in this country. But I tell you what, you can use this past election as a barometer for that very information. Kim Shelton, I see you. Thank you for checking in. Ms. Kraft, good to see you. Thank you. Tony DJ, Nick in the building, my man. You can use this past election as a barometer to figure out how exactly important it is for us to participate in this system, regardless of where we started within this system, because there were people, founding fathers of this country, who didn't believe that we would ever become a part of the system, and systematically and deliberately worked to keep us in a position sort of like the beast in the field, to dim any light of knowledge that we may gain in order to keep us in a psychologically caged situation. And it is unfortunate that many times we have assisted them in doing so. Because anything else, I always thought that I knew quite a bit about where we were in this country and why. But I'm finding out that as much as I thought I knew, I'm still learning. And it only reinforces what I've already kind of figured out. And it's crazy. But what are we going to do? That whole thing about being powerless. I mean, let's use this as an example. We wonder why the Karens of the world react the way they do. Why they can't stand to see black folks living their lives like everybody else. There has to be a crime. Why? Because it's not anything that they're doing, it's that they have criminalized black skin. And so these Karens who feel that anyone of color being beneath them get on the phone, and the first thing they do is call the police and pretend to be a victim, because they know that their hatred can be quelled with retribution by the slave catchers, the police departments. And I'll refer to it as we have in the past. We did a show recently and a few months ago about how the police departments came to be and how they are a spinoff from the militias and the slave catchers, and how they became the police departments. And then we wonder why we're still in the situations that we are. And all of these things play a large part. I was watching a special the other night on YouTube. It was a documentary about doggone it, I can't remember. It was something summer in the 60s in Mississippi. It was 62, 63, I believe it was, when they were there registering voters when Cheney, Schwerner, and Goodman were murdered that very same summer. And if you look at and you think about John Lewis and when they attempted to cross the Edmund Pettus Bridge and all of the other attempts used through the police departments historically to keep black people in their places, you realize that we're really not that far away from those attitudes being a part of the fabric in those departments and throughout America as to how and why we still remain where we are. And then we have people like this Burgess Owens, who decides that he's going to flip a House seat in favor of the Republicans and say that all lives matter, coming out of the mouth of a man of color. This just shows you how crazy things really are out here. So now I'm going to get to well, before I do that, let me do this. Y'all have seen the Trump is worried about his election, and I think that he's upset because some of his votes may have gone in that ballot box right there. I think that's what he thinks. That's where they should have gone anyway. At least that's where. Now we can just throw him in with everything else. How about that? But what do we expect from a person who has a failed airline, a failed casino, two failed marriages and one on the way, his mortgages, his university, his vodka company, and now he has lost the election. Mr. You're going to be so tired of winning, you ain't going to know what to do. Well, the Republican Party now, we all know what time it is. They can't help it. This is what it is. The official seal of the Republican Party. Because they refuse to let go of the idea that this dude lost. Now, these are the same people who 4 years ago were telling everybody to get over it, calling people snowflakes and all manner of other things they could think of. But now all of a sudden, everybody's supposed to be all up in arms because it's not possible for a loser to lose. Isn't that amazing? Well, thing is, I was looking at this right here. This right here where are you? Is exactly what I mean when I say that we're dealing with someone who is the boogeyman. This guy is the boogeyman. This guy creates villains. He creates boogeymen for people to chase down that have nothing to do with what's going on right now. Now, if you remember when you watched Scooby-Doo back in the day, right? They were always chasing a ghost. And the ghost always turned out to be somebody who either was looking for some money or had some ulterior motive for what they were doing. That's Donald Trump. He claims voter fraud. Do y'all realize that there has not been any voter fraud in ever? Let's just put it that way. The amount of voter fraud that is accounted for since 2010, there have been 4 known cases of supposed voter fraud, which someone voted, I think, twice, one time by accident or something. It's not even anything to talk about. We're talking about a country with tens of millions of people. And since 2010, they have 4 confirmed cases of voter fraud in this entire United States out of all of the elections. And yet, according to him, there's widespread voter fraud. Well, according to Baby Hands and Fox News, the host over there, Tucker Carlson, he claimed that there were votes cast in Georgia by dead people. Now, I watched that show and I thought it was interesting because it's annoying because you realize how much lying they do, and they're just being disingenuous. They're just misconstruing and twisting things and turning things to try to make it fit. I'm still, for the life of me, I've not been able to figure out what it is about Bunker Bitch that makes it so easy for these people to support lies and nonsense. I don't give a damn what your political party is. Where is your humanity? Where is your integrity? Where is your what happened? What happened to you that you're so hateful that you think that this is normal? I don't know. Well, there's a woman by the name of Deborah Jean Christensen that they claimed voted and is dead. Well, turns out that that is false, like the other situations that they claimed. They claimed like 2 or 3, and they've all been proven to be wrong. Well, it turns out that there is another Deborah Jean Christensen who passed away last year. They, in fact, were born the same year, same month, different day. So they actually went to this woman's house, and she, CNN did, as a matter of fact, and she actually answered the door. So she's a retired mental health counselor, and alive and well, and in fact, very insulted by the fact that she's been accused of voter fraud. I don't know that I blame her, but it's a false accusation. She said it's ridiculous, and she says they need to get over their loss. Fact is, Donald Trump lost. Get over it. Suck it up. Snowflake and all the other, you don't like it, leave. What were the other things they said? I can't even think of all of it. They said so much stuff when Trump won. It was like a rub it in your face kind of moment. You know, yeah, we won. Yeah, go sit down. You know, remember that? Well, now go sit down. You don't like it, leave. Joseph Biden is soon to be your president. Kamala Harris, a woman of color, one who the founding fathers of this country said were not psychologically nor physically equal to anyone white. That's a fact. And here we are. We've already had a black president. We now have a black female vice president. Suck it up, Buttercup. This is where we are. So all of these so-called dead voters have been debunked. Last night, Michigan made every attempt to tell the voters of Detroit, F y'all. We ain't gonna certify the vote. Well, guess what? The vote got certified because the people who they are basically dumping all over and saying they didn't vote are becoming very irate, because at the end of the day, you're trying to disenfranchise these people. You're trying to remove their vote, which they are entitled to. You can't do that. That other clown senator, his name slips my mind at the moment, thankfully, is literally trying to get Georgia to throw out votes. Find votes to throw away. Now, it's one thing to commit voter suppression. It's another thing to try and disenfranchise people who have voted legally. There are laws against this. I'm going to be very interested to see who ends up in legal hot water when this is all over. They should really hope and pray that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris don't decide to go after these people. Now, according to him, he wants all these recounts. And he's got his buddy, Giuliani, running up behind everybody, trying to get these recounts done. Well, funny thing. It's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting how old Rudy is doing all of Donald Trump's bidding. But they're trying very hard. And the majority of these cases, in fact, they're being thrown out daily. Every case that they've brought so far is being thrown out. They're not being heard. And the type of cases, in fact, they say Giuliani was in front of a judge the other day, and he literally admitted out loud that they had no evidence. Why are you bringing a case to court and you have no evidence? What is your purpose here? Well, I'm going to tell you like this. I found out, or I see, Giuliani and Trump apparently go way back.
You know, you're
have a look at this.
And a woman that looks like that has to have her own special scent.
Oh, thank you. Maybe this.
Guess who that is in the dress?
I like that.
This may be the best of all. Oh, you dirty boy, you. Oh. Donald, I thought you were a gentleman.
You can't say I didn't try. Mayor Giuliani, he's given away over $2 billion in corporate wealth.
Well, now, what do you know about that right there? Anyway, so apparently they've got a long history, and I guess he grabbed Giuliani by the...
EVE Online is a vast universe.
Well, you know. Anyway, here we are, still trying to work through all of this nonsense. But the thing that I want to talk about now, I'm going to get back to that BS after a while. But right now, I want to talk about some positivity, y'all. There is a young man by the name of Lewis Hamilton. I don't know if you've heard of him or not, but this guy is a bad shut your mouth. Now, apparently, he is a Formula One driver, and he has won 7 world championships. Please tell me why this hasn't made major news around the globe. I mean, it's made the news, but not the way it should. You need to understand, understand this, y'all. Black folks have broken down a lot of barriers in regard to sports. This man is making waves in the Formula One category like you wouldn't believe. It requires literally millions and millions of dollars, way beyond anything NASCAR or any other stuff, to operate a Formula One team. And in fact, he drives for Mercedes. This guy is a beast. Now, I'm going to show you a quick clip because I want you to see what this dude is about. This cat here ain't nothing to play with. The one quality that separates the truly great drivers from all the others is their ability to unite and inspire those around them under a common cause with their leadership, passion, genius, and energy.
Leadership, passion, genius, and energy. Lewis Hamilton's championship-winning 2020 season has been anything but straightforward. In a year full of trials and tribulations for everyone around the world, Hamilton used his time to reflect and, quote, gather my thoughts about what's most important to me. Prior to the Austrian Grand Prix, the death of George Floyd sparked a global movement for justice and equality for all people. As the only black driver in a predominantly white sport, and as one of the most high-profile figures on the planet, he is using his platform and influence to empower those who felt they couldn't speak up. For the season opener in Austria, Hamilton asked his fellow drivers to join him in taking a knee to stand up against racial inequality. By doing this, he was calling out the deep-rooted behavior of a sport that traditionally steered clear of any form of political engagement. Until Hamilton came along, hardly anyone in Formula One history dared risking their career to stand against injustice. Only the great Sir Stirling Moss, when competing in the 1959 South African Grand Prix, the height of the apartheid era, suggested to his fellow drivers that they should wave at the end of the race only to spectators in places where non-whites had been restricted. Since taking a stand, however, Hamilton was criticised heavily by people on social media, former F1 drivers, and even those formerly in positions of power, such as Bernie Ecclestone. Many have said that he has created more division than unity, that he is virtue signaling, and he should simply shut up and drive. However, by merely tweeting,
all right, just to give you an idea, I'm not going to give you, I could go on all day about this dude, man, but I want you all, and this is where I do my seed planting, I want you all, when you have an opportunity, look this brother up, check him out. He a bad dude, and I personally am, in awe of dudes like this, man, because I've been around racing and cars and stuff like that all my life, and when I see somebody that can live the dream like that, hey, bow down. That my man. And he's doing it under levels of duress that many of us can't even imagine. We deal with what we got to deal with, all the time already. But real talk, dude is a beast. All right, back to the nonsense. So apparently y'all's man wants a partial recount in Wisconsin, I believe it is. And the people there, much like the people who are in Detroit, raised up and raised hell when they found out that they were trying to be disenfranchised. His name, Jaquilla, is Lewis Hamilton. That is his name. In fact, I'm going to, let me see, copy. I'm going to put a link up to the video that I just had up for everyone. So just in case you want to check it out. Oh, and also, y'all, in the future, because we don't know where all this stuff is going, but in the future, if you want to view the show from other platforms, because I'm actually going to try and I'm not going to say I'm going to go away from this platform. I'm going to continue using Facebook, but I want to also make sure that you understand that I have a Discord account You can go on there. We have Twitch, we have Periscope, we have YouTube. And in the future, because I'm working on tying all my platforms together so that I can have a cohesive presentation, and I'm trying to make things better. And of course, I'm always open to suggestions. So if y'all see something on this show that you think we could improve on, please let me know, because I want to be able to bring the best possible show and presentation that I can. I mean, because the better I am, the better it is for everybody else. So I want to be better. I want to be the best I can be. And in that way, it'll make y'all enjoy what we do here. Dana Brock said 45 lost, 20 legal cases, and one minor issue in PA over deadlines for ballots. Right. Yeah, I saw that. And, you know, I think what is crazy to me and what I don't understand, that even if he were to win the majority of these frivolous lawsuits, he still doesn't win the election. What exactly is the point? See, it goes back again, the boogeyman. Ghostbusters. We need Ghostbusters. They need to go up in the White House and kick him up out of there. Because when it's all said and done, there's no possible way. There's nothing that they're going to find. There's nothing that's going on that's going to allow him to remain in office outside of a straight up military coup. And we know the military is not on his side. They don't even like it. There's nothing that's going to keep him in power. Even if the Trumpanzees decide that they're going to get up tomorrow and start a civil unrest, a civil war to try and keep him in office. Even that's not going to keep him in office. The election is over. According to the Constitution, January 20th, the new president will be, or should I say, as they say in the Constitution, shall be installed into office as the leader of the free world. And that is that. There's nothing there. And it is amazing to me how utterly quiet this dude is and how utterly stupid the people around him are, who continue to perpetrate this charade of it somehow being okay that he's doing this, and that somehow there's a shot somewhere. They're going real far to keep his cult happy and his cult members. What flavor's the Kool-Aid today, y'all? As I was saying, DJ Nick said the same Secret Service that protect him will be the same people that's going to escort him out. Yep, you're absolutely right. But you know what's even funnier to me about that is that, and I've said this before, what I think is going to be very, very different. And most Secret Service guys, from what I understand, I happen to know a fellow who is an officer over there. Most guys are happy to have the cushy details of protecting the ex-presidents and that type of thing. They got a lush life. They don't do much. Nobody's trying to get at one of the ex-presidents. Nobody, you know, they chilling. They got a cushy job for the most part. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to diminish what they do. They do a hell of a thing. But I would probably, if I were Secret Service, I probably would not want to have the job of protecting him after this. Because we already know his ego is so large that he's going to do more rallies. He's going to continue to behave as though he's the president. But this time it's going to be on his dime and not the United States. He's going to have to pay for that. So if he's going to give big old maggot rallies, he's going to have to pay for it. Just like he has to pay for the partial recount in Wisconsin to the tune of $8 million. Well, if I know him, based on his history and the things that he's done in the past, we already know that he ain't going to pay for it. his constituents are. He's not going to pay for it. All the maggots are going to pay for it. All the Trumpanzees, all of the people who think he is so wonderful. Let's see if they run behind him in the coming years while he continues to feed his ego. I'm going to tell you, they're going to get mad because he's not going to have a boogeyman anymore. He's not going to have somebody to fight against. I'm not worried about him running for election again in 4 years. I'm not worried about it at all. Dana Brock says, I wonder if the Secret Service will protect him in the joint. I'm asking for Bubba. Well, you know what? That was the second part of the statement that I was making. Not only would I not want to be a member of the Secret Service who has a protection detail where he and his family are concerned, I question whether or not they'll actually be protecting him. And here's what I mean. Instead of it being a protection where they are trying to keep him safe as they do all of the other presidents, I think they're going to be keeping an eye on him to make sure that he doesn't go around the world spilling his guts. We already know he has a scorched earth mentality. We already know he's trying to damage this democracy as much as he can before he leaves, just to try and make a point. He wants to hamstring Joe Biden and Kamala Harris so that it can look like they're not doing a good job. And without him, the world is going to absolutely fall apart. So I believe that he's going to do everything in his power to make it that much worse. And that's why he's not conceding. That's why he's not helping with the transition, because he's a sore loser. He's like the schoolyard bully brat. Talk a whole lot, do a whole lot to people who can't defend themselves. And the minute somebody stands up and hit him in the mouth, he becomes the victim and then going crying to the teacher. He hit me. Ah. Like the crybaby that he is. And then next thing you know, he's back at it. Because that's how people like him behave. He's a sore loser. And now he's going to take his toys and he's going to go home. But guess what? Nobody cares. Not really. Even the people, if you paid attention, and I was watching this today on the Senate floor when Kamala Harris was there, all of the other people around her were congratulating her for her win. Republicans and Democrats alike. So publicly, these people are making a stand as to say, yeah, well, we just going to wait. You know, nobody wants to offend. So everybody's being cool. But the fact of the matter is, everybody knows the score. And they're trying as hard as they can not to make bad blood coming in the door, because at the end of the day, you better remember, she's still going to be the VP. She still wields a certain amount of power. Joe Biden is about to be the president. There's no point in trying to make enemies, which is exactly what is going to happen. Because, see, one thing all of these people need to remember, I think some of them do and some of them don't. Once Donald Trump is out of office, even now, you still got to live in the places that you live in. You still have to work your job. And if you, for example, have not signed off to allow the transition teams to do what they need to do to make this a smooth operation in regard to the protection of this country, you're going to probably be looking for a job on January 21st. You're going to probably be looked at by at least half of the people who could potentially employ you as a pariah, because you allowed someone who has no regard for anybody else's anything dictate the way you do your job. There are a lot of people that are going to pay a high price for protecting someone who is more than capable of protecting himself. Dennis McCullum says he wants to start a war to hand off to Biden by withdrawing troops so that Iraq, Iran, Al-Qaeda can rebuild their offenses. Absolutely. And by announcing it before that comes down, it makes it that much easier. And that's exactly what he's trying to do. He wants to hamstring Joe Biden. I think, and even, and it just, you know, it really annoys me to watch Mitch McConnell sit there and play along. Here's another individual who believes somehow that he is untouchable. He's doing things that he doesn't think are going to come back to haunt him or hurt him. They may not. But I guarantee you there are people around him that will. And it's much like what I had said once before. Donald Trump may very well never pay a price for his indiscretions. Never. But here's what you do need to realize. There are a lot of people in his circle, in his atmosphere, the people in his rotation, they're gonna pay dearly. They're gonna pay who they're gonna pay. There are a lot of people gonna go to jail. There are a lot of people it's gonna cost a lot of money. They're gonna bankrupt some folks. A lot of people are gonna pay a high price for protecting him. And it would be different if they were actually protecting something, but they're not. They're protecting an ideology. They're protecting a way of life, actually. I said they're not, but you know what? They are. The thing that they're protecting is the very thing that this country was built on. Supremacy. The idea that they are better than the rest of us. The idea without which you need to understand that we would be in a lot of trouble if we allow this to continue. I am so happy that there were enough people in this country to wake up and say no more. They outweighed the ones who wanted America great again. And when they say make America great again, trust me, they absolutely had a very particular idea in mind when they said it. They had very pointed intentions, and many of them still do. And this was their one and only opportunity to make it happen outside of anything straight up violent. And that's not going to work. Not this time. Not ever again. Not in this country. See, every time there's not enough chaos taking place, Donald Trump has created a boogeyman. Here just recently, over the last couple of years, he started the boogeyman rumor around voter fraud. He had to have that because, I mean, he even said it himself. The only way I'm going to lose is if it's rigged. The only person around here rigging anything is you. See, cheaters don't believe that they can be beat without the people who beat them cheating. They don't understand that cheaters don't win. It's only a matter of time. Of course, I don't know. America has become the home of the cheater. That seems to be the American way. I mean, shit. Look at Trump's grandfather. He basically was a shyster and a pimp. They called him a businessman. But if you ever do your history and study the Trump legacy, you'll see that he made a whole lot of shady deals. And he pimped on a whole lot of hoes. And that's how the Trump fortune was made. That's where it started. Don't get it twisted. Always follow the money. The ego, the narcissism are all what drives this person that I cannot wait to see gone. And I'm going to tell y'all, there are days when I get ready to do this show and I swear I don't want to talk about this dude, but I can't help it. And I guess that makes me equally as guilty as his supporters, because as long as we keep his name in our mouth, he stays relevant. I'm gonna give him his next 60 days. what's today, the 18th? In 2 more days, it'll be about, 60 days. And he's out of here. But he's going to keep doing rallies. He's going to be out here doing rallies, and he's going to be riling up his folks. In fact, I was on my way somewhere the other day, and I saw an entire parking lot full of big old 4-wheel drive trucks with great big flags on them. And all of these people out there standing on the side of the street talking about stop the steal. Stop the steal. The election was stolen. Do you understand that 70% of Republicans believe that Trump won this election? 50% of those, and I'm not making this up, y'all. I got these numbers from some information that I picked up. 53% of Republicans believe that Trump is actually going to still be the president come January 20th. DJ Nick said, definition of Trumpery: worthless nonsense to deceive, swindle something out without worth or value. Rubbish, trash, fraud, foolish talk or actions. Showy but worthless finery. Attractive articles of little value or use. Gaudy. I would say that was about right. And yes, Alejandro, you are correct. At Cowboys Dance Hall, that is exactly where they were. And they were in full regalia, full blown out there just doing their thing. That was Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, Sunday morning. They were all out there having themselves a fantastic time, tailgating and talking about Trump. It's not going to matter. 60 more days. They can put him in a 4-wheel drive. And they can all ride off the earth, because they probably think the earth is flat. They can all drive off the edge of the earth. That would be good. So that would be all right with me. Because according to him, they want to count the legal votes. But you got to stop the count as long as he's winning. But you got to throw out the votes that are for Biden, because only the ones for Trump are legal. Don't y'all forget that now. Only Trump's votes are legal. Biden's votes are illegal, according to the Trump team. See, what these people want to see is everybody else bow down in fear. Ain't gonna happen, y'all. So look, y'all, what I would like, right now as I'm broadcasting, I am doing so. I'm making a lot of changes, and I'm just bringing y'all up to speed on what's happening. I'm making a lot of logistical changes for the show and that type of thing. I'm going to show y'all this right quick. This is just another camera. Sometimes I know people wonder what all I deal with while I'm doing all of this. But just to give you an idea, this is a camera that I set up from the rear. So when I tell y'all that I'm busy as hell when I'm over here doing this show, you can trust and believe it's a lot going on behind the scenes. You see all these monitors, all this stuff is here for a reason. And I have to use each and every piece of this equipment in order to make this thing come off. And that's why I'm trying to get better. One of these days I'll be able to afford, if I keep going like I'm going, I keep working hard, I'll be able to afford a little team here that can help me broadcast this show where I don't have to do all the work and all the talking all at the same time. And it'll make it a little bit better, just a little bit. Just a little bit. So this just give you an idea of what's happening behind the scenes. So also, I'm going to ask you all, because presently I broadcast from my personal page, but I have created a new page called The Black Factor. It's been out for some time, but I haven't used it yet. But I am going to begin broadcasting from that page, and I'm going to end up making some other better changes, streamline things, make it all, a little sweeter. Let's see. Alejandro said, if you keep going like you're going with all that equipment, we're going to start launching shuttles in this. Okay. All right. Well, at least, hell, if I'm going to get paid for it, I'm down. And thank you, Regina. I very much appreciate that. That's sweet. And I just, like I said, I just wanted to get better. And so I'm trying to do, I've cross platformed a few things, and now I'm connected through multiple platforms all at once, where you can literally watch this show in at least 5 to 6 different locations at this moment. That will be Discord, Periscope, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. So y'all, feel free to, anytime you see the Black Factor, it's me. Like it, subscribe, hit the notifications, do all that kind of stuff, that needs to be done, so that you'll know when we come on. And I'm going to start making announcements. Oh, and come Monday, I'm really hoping, I have a special guest that I'm trying to get on the show for Monday. You all are going to thoroughly enjoy that. And it won't be, well, I ain't gonna say it won't completely be, it ain't gonna be completely about politics, but it will be, there'll probably be a little bit of political conversation, but there will be a gentleman on there who will absolutely make you feel like you can take over the world. So I'm looking forward to potentially having him on the show. Jaquilla, she said, I knew you were looking at something. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the reason why I did this, why I put this camera here, was for that very reason, because somebody mentioned to me one day, they said, man, you be on the show, you be looking all over the place. And, I know you're busy. Well, this is to give you an idea of what all is happening at any given time. Now, I got 3 large monitors here and a laptop, and this is all I can fit in this corner for right now. I have more space, but it's just the way I have things set up. And it makes it, as convenient as possible, so I have everything at my fingertips, because that's what's necessary. Regina Freeman, no, not Sister X. She will be back soon, but I do have this is a male guest, and I'm really looking forward to it. We haven't gotten a confirmation yet, but just stay tuned, because if we get him, it'll be on Monday, and I promise you it will be a fantastic show. You will not want to miss that one. In fact, I'm going to put announcements out for that. Yes, Dennis McCullum, I absolutely do. I need a producer, and I need a what do you call it, social media manager, because it is a lot of work keeping all of this stuff together. It literally takes me sometimes. I literally have been in this chair all day working on some of this stuff. DJ Nick says, I need a flyer for your show and I will run it when I DJ. DJ Nick, I appreciate that so much. Listen, as a matter of fact, DJ Nick, we need to connect up, because I believe you were on Twitch as well. We need to make sure that we're connected through those shows, so that we working on building these audiences, getting our people all on the same page. And I think that'd be a fantastic, that'd be a good look right there. As a matter of fact, Nick, when I get back to Chicago, we need to connect up anyway. I talked to the ambassador, Kevin Neville, when I was there last, and Tony Bowen, and I was going to actually broadcast a show from out there at the stepper set out there at DuSable in the park. I would look forward to doing some work with all y'all. In fact, I'll be back in Chicago here in a couple of weeks, so we're gonna do something. We ought to do something live while I'm there, so I look forward to that. So anyway, like I said, y'all, subscribe to my Black Factor page. I haven't sent out friend requests yet on there. I tried to the other day. It kind of gave me a little problem, so I didn't get them out, but I'm going to send some out. But feel free to go over to the Black Factor page and just hit the like button, and we're going to begin broadcasting from there within the next week to 2 weeks. And I'd like to, just kind of shift things over and transition. And also, don't be afraid to join me on Twitch, Discord, Periscope, and YouTube, because those are all of the platforms that we are on, and I look forward to continued movement and making this thing as good as it can be. Jaquilla Hughes, you know what? Well, you need to have your son to give me a shout. Your son does social media managing. Yes, I would. I need to speak with somebody like that. I need a publicist. Because, for example, right now, I have never done a hard release on the Black Factor, the book. I am in the process of doing a second revision or first revision. Well, as soon as I finish the revisions, I'm going to put out a new copy. And then we're going to have the Black Factor 2 will be dropping shortly thereafter. And I've never done a hard release. And what I want to do is I'm going to do a hard release. And as soon as I do, I'm going to definitely, because I need a publicist, to be honest with you. I need a publicist. I need a media manager. And that will make my life that much easier. And for those of you who have some of that information for me, I would very much appreciate it. Thank you so much. I appreciate your input and your support. Thanks, y'all. I love y'all, man. Y'all make it fun. This is what it's got to be. If I'm gonna live my life like this and, you know, do this kind of thing, you know, it's got to be fun. I gotta enjoy it. So, you know, I don't want it to be too much like work. This is work. Don't get it twisted. I'm telling y'all now, this is work. It's more than just a notion. So, also, I've been trying to keep these Facebook shows right at an hour, which I've been running just a little bit over. But what I'm going to start doing is covering my other platforms. I'm going to be doing on a more regular basis. Like I'll be on Twitch for multiple hours in the near future, and some of the other platforms where we'll just be having straight up discussion like we're having right now. We'll be talking and kicking it, and you can ask questions, you can put information out there, you can connect with other people. It's going to be a lot of fun, y'all. So get you a Twitch account, and get on Discord, the Black Factor. Come on and hang out with your boy, because we're going to be getting it in. We're going to have a great time. Y'all come on, holla at me. I'm Brian Forbes, and this is the Black Factor. And all we want to do is have a little fun. So I'm going to let y'all go. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope something we've said today gave you a little bit of insight, enlighten you just a little bit, plant a few seeds. Go check my man out, Lewis Hamilton, on the racing scene. Go check out Burgess Owens with his nonsense, Mr. I'm a Republican now and all lives matter. And the hell with Trump, because he's done. So y'all have yourselves a wonderful evening. We're going to get on down. Love, peace, and chicken grease. I'm Brian Forbes. This has been the Black Factor. Thanks.